Assalamu alaikum, Brother Ali.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Could you give us a brief introduction about yourself and your occupation?
I am an educator and I've been in education for the last decade plus. Currently, I have the privilege and honor of serving the community as principal at Alhadi school.
What made you choose this occupation?
Wasn't an easy choice. My background was in engineering and I studied STEM primarily. But education is something that has appealed to me since I was a lot younger. And to me, it's a career path that will serve humanity, inshallah, even after the zuhur of the Imam. So choosing a career for me, it was really important to make sure it has that quality of being useful, having the longevity essentially that you can continue that profession after the zuhur of the Imam. And that's why I went to education.
What advice would you give to community members who are on the fence about pursuing a career in academia?
Similar advice to individuals wanting to enter any other field. Most importantly, make sure they're very passionate about it. Education is a calling. Becoming an educator is akin to leading and developing an individual. We have so much literature out there from our ma'sumin, from our ulama, drawing a lot of comparisons between the lofty and weighty task of risalat and how on a micro scale an educator has that calling as well towards the students. So making sure they are very passionate about this calling, understanding the weight and how important a responsibility this is before they commit. And of course, like a lot of other careers, it's fine to push themselves, challenge themselves, try and see if that's really what they're most interested in.
What exactly makes an Islamic school Islamic?
The belief we have from our ma'sumin is that knowledge generally is Islamic in nature. Doesn't mean that, if it's chemistry or biology, it's secular and that, Islamic knowledge is only Quran and Ahadith and, fiqh. So having that holistic approach at developing a child, and to be an Islamic school, it's understanding the right way of approaching that topic. We're not doing the task of educating a child for this world only. Islamic schools are concerned about your 0.0001% of existence, which is making sure the child is ready for college, ready for having a good job, providing halal rizq and livelihood for the family, but also for the 99.999% of their existence, which is the akhirat. So Islamic school is really bringing those two and merging them and making sure that that balance is understood.
What are some benefits that an Islamic school offers that a public school cannot?
I think that's exactly it. In a public school, when you're there, they want to teach you in some form or capacity what they consider to be morally right, what is ethically right. That is from a human perspective, and that changes as we've seen, through the decades and throughout the centuries. That moral compass switches, and they're preparing you, like I said, for just that 0.001% of your existence, which is this world, which is not what we believe to be the reality of our existence. We are not this physical being. We're the soul, and once we leave this body, that's our true essence and true existence, and that's what we have to prepare for. So public schools don't do that. Public schools don't prepare for that. And Islamic schools, in addition to making sure that the students are academically at the top in advanced placement courses, when it comes to science, technology, engineering, arts, math, making sure that they're well-rounded individuals who can communicate and be proficient in as members in society, we want to make sure they're also ready for that. Public schools don't do that.
There are some parents who are still reluctant about sending their kids to an Islamic school. Why do you think that is?
I think that maybe the picture has not been painted fully for them. There are definitely inherent dangers to sending our children to public school. I went to public school. I'm familiar with some of those challenges. I worked in public school as an administrator, public school, charter, and even faith-based Christian school that I'm familiar with and have interacted with. I can tell you that there are a lot of challenges, and those dangers have only increased. The situation has gotten a lot worse in the last 5-10 years than what it was maybe 20 to 30 years ago. But that's only half of the picture. So the parents, when they look at maybe public school, when they look at what it offers, when they look at maybe those resources, maybe in their mind it justifies, okay, this is a danger, we understand, we're cognizant of it, which I don't think they understand the full picture of it. If they knew the billions of dollars that are going into exploiting their children and those morals and values, I think they would become more aware of that. But if they see that and they keep that in their mind, but then see the resources and the benefits, they will do a cost analysis in their mind. The other side of the picture is to realize that maybe one of the reasons why parents don't send their children to an Islamic school or maybe a private faith-based school is they don't believe it delivers what the public school can. And what we're noticing is that with significantly fewer resources, if our budget might be only 1%, 2% of what a school similar in size would have if it was a public school, with clearly fewer resources and ability to be able to deliver some of those same opportunities, our students are performing at the same level or significantly higher. We look at our students when they go to college, we look at their performance on national standardized tests and where they're scoring compared to the national averages, compared to the state averages. We see that our students, for example, with Future City, I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but they are performing against 40,000 students across the country and even internationally, China, Nigeria, Canada. Our school students are getting first place. So those are giving us, those metrics, they continuously reassure that the potential we have is to perform significantly higher as we continuously work on increasing the resources and the offerings we have, which is what we're doing with our Alhadi 2.0 campaign. More and more parents are becoming convinced.
What exactly is Alhadi 2.0?
Alhadi 2.0 is it's our campaign, rebranding Alhadi. We are entering our 26th year, so with a quarter century behind us, all of the growth, all of the tremendous work, sacrifices that previous administrations, teachers have put in, it's taking all of that and accentuating all of the positives. While we are very transparent, we are cognizant of those shortcomings that have been taking place in the last 25 years and eliminating those as much as possible, minimizing them before we systematically just eliminate those shortcomings. And our approach is three-pronged. We're focusing on the experience, so that's for students, for staff, for parents. We're focusing on academics, that includes the talent, that includes the academics, the rigor, and at the same time focusing on systems. So the policies that we're implementing, our focus is entirely making sure these policies are sustainable for longevity. They are policies that, inshallah, my personal vision, if anyone asked, is that we know that at least the school that I work at, Alhadi School, the name of the Masoom is on it. We know that it will last 500 years from now, maybe. The longevity is there with the name of the Masoom. We will come and go, and really, what we want to do is make sure that as we hand this to the Imam of the age, inshallah, after Zuhur, that those policies, what we have worked on, it's not going to be all for naught. That maybe 50%, 80%, 20% is, has been done with the right intention, has been done with the right mindset. It has been a systematic approach to where those are good policies. Then inshallah, we'll have the seal of approval from the Imam, and that's the longevity we talk about.
You mentioned there are some dangers of public schools. Are there any benefits that a public school offers that an Islamic school cannot?
To be truthful, yes. There are certain benefits. It's really the lens that we have. We're considering what to be a benefit. There are parents, as we mentioned earlier, who consider these benefits to outweigh the dangers. My opinion, I think the opinion of a lot of individuals who have gone through this difficult learning experience, they've had the hard lessons that they've learned for their children, is that the dangers do outweigh those benefits. And these benefits we're talking about are marginal. For example, I think almost all of them are tied to some aspect of funding, resources that the school has. If it's that they're getting federal funds, then those are earmarked and they're tied to certain restrictions. You must do this, you can't do that. All of those red tape, the bureaucracy that exists with getting money from those federal sources or some of the state sources. So we are very strategic in how we try to bring in resources to provide opportunities to our students that students at public school cannot get, because these opportunities would be available to students wanting this particular program. And in a public school, you maybe due to inclusivity of federal funding, those requirements that are tied to it, you wouldn't be able to have a program like that. So yes, there are programs, there are certain benefits, maybe in terms of the size of a stadium that a school has, some of those amenities. But I think what we offer, when you look at cost analysis, those benefits are marginal in how they impact the overall experience versus what we offer with the resources we have and in a safe environment. So those dangers are what we're completely eliminating.
What if a parent cannot afford to send their kids to an Islamic school or has commute-related issues? Are there any programs available to help them?
Yes. Alhadi, we consider ourselves to be need blind, and we want to make sure we're providing the service of quality education to the community at large, even if they have financial difficulties. So we do offer financial aid. Currently, we have about 30% of our students who receive aid, and it's in varying amounts, of course. I don't know how much and which students are recipients of this aid. It is external to the school by a committee that operates independently under the direction of our school board, and they treat everything with utmost confidentiality. So if I don't know it, the teachers don't, the students don't, those children are not, of course, treated any differently. So that dignity of our families is very much valued by us. As far as commuting and families who have difficulty with that, there are solutions that are in place. Families do ride sharing, or they have some of those arrangements that we can facilitate for them. Of course, there is also the opportunity for us to provide a bus route, and we have that capability. We have surveyed before and evaluated that option. As the need arises and we identify those from our parents, we are capable of making that adjustment as well.
How do you go about selecting qualified educators?
We interview our candidates through we have them go through a 3-phase process where they're interviewing with us, they're doing model lessons, they're meeting with our resident alim, and the key is to plan ahead, make sure that we're meticulous with the process. Usually we are able to cast a wide net to be able to encourage and identify as much of the talent as we can. But really it's a two-part as well. See, if it's always the school going to find the talent and bring it in, we're missing out on a big part of this equation, and that is talent that wants to join our team. And for that, it is internally all, it's what we're doing with our culture, with the sense of professionalism, that, all of those are part of that Alhadi 2.0 campaign we have. Alhamdulillah, for the, recently in the last few years, we've noticed individuals approaching us and coming to join our team. So that's that's a positive. So what we're looking to do is be meticulous in the process, take our time, make sure we're vetting the candidates. Research out there is that when a school loses a highly effective teacher, it takes on average 11 rehires to get a teacher of that caliber back. Do the math, about 10% that you get it right on your next rehire. What we do is, by being meticulous in that process, we want to increase our chances to make sure it's a 50, 60, 70% likelihood that we're bringing in an individual that through that coaching development is going to be the best and expert instructor for our students, the best person we can possibly put in front of our students. And that's the accountability piece we have. For us, we're very accountable. That's what I always say, on the day of judgment, I want to make sure I can answer that, yes, we worked on putting, that individual in front of the students. It's a difficult task, and it's it's a huge responsibility, but also making sure that the culture and, the growth of the campus is in a way that individuals approach us and want to join our team. And that's also part of what we're doing. So alhamdulillah, we're trying to balance this, approach where from both sides we can do this.
In a growing community, do you think that only one Islamic school can successfully cater to all those in need?
I think it depends on the size and needs of that community. If we are looking at Houston, with the interest, with the growth rate that we have been experiencing at Alhadi, I think coming in a 10% increase was something that would have been ideal. Now we've surpassed that. We've surpassed 10% increase each year, year after year, even despite COVID and the impact that it has had. Interacting with other Islamic schools around the country, we noticed that alhamdulillah, our decline was minimal compared to what some of the other Islamic schools experienced. But the short answer is, I it's not. Given the size of the Houston community, the number of children that we know who are school-age children, either preschool through 12 or at least K through 12, one school won't be enough. And so, of course, for us, we have the Richmond campus, we have the WAS campus that inshallah will be very soon operational with students, and it'll be growing. This is something we have to invest in. This is really our future, and to justify our existence in the West, to make sure that we're not going to compromise on our values, to make sure that there is going to be 50 years from now, 20 years from now, the majalis will continue, the azan will continue of the Alhadi, that the students of Alhadi, or the children in the community who are now going through school, when they are adults, they're working, that they are going to continuously come back to the community and support the initiatives, and they will hold on to that identity of theirs. To ensure that, we need to make sure that we can expand and address the needs of all the parents who want to enroll their child in a school like Alhadi.
For individuals who have questions regarding Alhadi or being educators in general, who can they reach out to?
They can reach out to us. They can visit the website if there are parents who are interested in learning more about the school. Alhadi.com is our website. They can learn more about enrollment, the registration process, by calling our front desk, speaking with our registrar. And if individuals, current students who are aspiring to become educators, maybe they're not fully committed to that yet, they need more information, what the process looks like, of course, we'll be more than happy to provide that information. If there's anything I can provide, any advice, I'll be more than happy to do that. And we have qualified individuals on campus who will be able to help them as well. So reaching out to our website, going to alhadi.com, calling the front desk, emailing principal@alhadi.com if that's what is easiest for them, or of course they can visit my profile on Link313.org and reaching out to me that way.
To find out more about Alhadi, find the links in the description below. To reach out to Brother Alireza Abedi, check out his profile on Link313.org. This video is brought to you by Link313. To sign up for an account, visit Link313.org and expand your communal network.